Call to action time. If you don't want to lose democracy, you have to be a part of it. So one of the biggest weaknesses that I see with our current president and our unelected, unofficial secondary president is that they treat the United States like we are a corporation. And I understand that there's been a lot of legislation that's happened in the last 10 years or so to really show that we value corporations in America. However, based on our Constitution, we are not a corporation. We as individual citizens of the United States cannot just be fired. If we want to make any sort of analogy, we're closer to a co-op than a corporation. And that means every single one of us has ownership in our government. However, if we are silent, if we are complicit, then we might as well just be a worker bee for the system. So I often come on here and say that there are a lot of different roles that people can play to resist the actions of this current administration. And I know some of us needed to take a break as we were being bombarded with news stories and executive orders, but it is time for you to choose action. If you have not figured out where you fit in, this is the time, and I'm going to give you some ideas. One of the reasons that it is so important for you to act right now, especially if you are someone who is more privileged, is that while they cannot fire us, they can unalive us. If you are paying attention to the news, there are already camps that have, been set up for years, but are also being set up as holding areas around the United States and also overseas, despite that being super illegal. And I know that we want to stick our heads in the sand and say that this will never happen to us. But if you look at history and if you look at the rise of tyrants in other countries, there's going to be some unaliving. But not if people, especially privileged people, band together now and act now. And if you're thinking, oh, this is like exaggeration, this is fear-mongering, I want you to pay attention to what is happening with ICE and immigrants right now, because it's already starting. And they don't go after the most privileged first. They go after the easiest targets, the undocumented immigrants. A lot of people on all political sides of the fence are like, oh yeah, no, that's okay. You can start there. Then they're going after an itty-bitty part of our population, transgender and non-binary people. And more people are going to stand up for that, but I'm not hearing enough right now. And there are already rumblings coming for BIPOC populations. Here in my very blue state, we had white nationalists demonstrating yesterday. Hate groups are being empowered. And the thing that I am seeing from people who are actually getting out there and fighting for our Constitution is that the predominant leaders are marginalized people. We've got loud people from the LGBTQ community. We have loud people from the immigrant community. We actually have loud people from the disability community. And these are people who are risking their health in order to get out there and make noise. So here's what you need to do. First off, social media is great for getting out communication, but it is not great to get change from the top because overall it's quiet. It's something that you can turn off. The things that get attention from the top are the things that interrupt day-to-day life and threaten the economy. And when I say interrupt day-to-day life, I don't necessarily mean the day-to-day life of civilians, though that is helpful, but I mean the day-to-day life of the people in the government who are failing to get things done. So that means using the app 5Calls and flooding your legislators' inboxes, mail, phone calls are effective. Showing up at town halls is the next step that is going to be more effective. And we're seeing more people doing it, but it would be great if you could do it too. If you have financial privilege, even if you can just spare $5 a month, You can give money to the causes that are doing the boots on the ground work to fight for our Constitution. And when you are off the screen, you need to be using your voice. If your voice is small, use it in small settings. When you hear people using microaggressions, when you hear them saying things that you know is misinformation, be brave and use your voice. Because honestly, those one-to-one connections, as long as you are civil, are the most effective to create a ripple of change. And if you are stuck in apathy, in feeling like this is hopeless and there is nothing you can do, please look at the other countries that have threatened to lose democracy or have overturned dictators. This is the way things get done. We can do it, but we have to act now and together so that we can do this in a civil, constitutional way. Our democracy, our republic, the fabric of the United States of America is threatened right now. If you don't want to lose democracy, you have to be a part of it.